Vail.
Welcome indeed. My name is Gaijin. I really like this game, and I have competed in it. I have won money playing this game. I really love this game, and I just want to teach y'all all about it. In fact, we're going to be just like this. Just like this. This is me. This is you coming under my wing. I am going to show you everything you need to know to play this game, and we're going to get started with the number one most important thing first. Okay, so at the beginning of every round, scanner spawns right here on colonist side. It's going to spawn with the colonists regardless of what map you're on. If you're playing the artifact mode, that's what it's doing. All you got to do, take it. It's going to do this thing. Store it on your chest. And you're going to go to one of two bomb sites. There's an A and a B bomb site, or excuse me, artifact site on every map, but it's a bomb site in Counter-Strike, it's a bomb site in Call of Duty, because this is just that 5v5 style search and destroy mode. And I'm just going to walk up here, and they're not watching this, right? No, they're both on A. Beautiful. Grab the scanner, take it off your chest. Get somewhere in this green circle around the objective. This is called the artifact. You hold this palm up, grab the ball in the middle. It's going to highlight another ball. You go straight to that one, then you go to the next one, oh, and if you hit the wrong one, it starts over. Go to that, and now the enemy team has 40 seconds to retake the site and deactivate this. And I am going to try to stop them from doing that. He's right on the other side of this barrel. There we go. And I won that. So colonists win the round because they activated the scanner and either allowed it to go off or prevented the enemy team from deactivating it. The defending side, or Rayab, wants to prevent you from putting this thing down in the first place or deactivating it after the scan starts. That is the most important single tip, but there's still a lot of important things to go over in here. Namely, the settings. We're going to go through each and every single one of the settings so you know what they do. And yes, this is the same if you are on Quest. But anyway, the dominant hand setting, obviously, dominant hand, left or right. Control scheme, it just switches what different buttons do between left or right. I'm going to put the current button binds on the screen. You can't change those at the time being because Vail is an OpenXR. OpenXR is a specific standard where you can't change your binds for some reason. Virtual turn mode changes how you turn. You can disable it, so the only way, like I'm touching my right thumbstick right now, the only way you can turn is by turning yourself physically. I always have this on smooth turn, which means I just turn smoothly when I push my thumbstick to either side. And then there's snap turn, which will just instantly turn you any increment of degrees up to 45, which you can set wherever you want here. And then smooth turn speed changes how quickly you turn when it's on smooth turn. Now, virtual movement mode, this one's down to personal preference, but it means when you move your thumbstick to move around in game, you move relative to where your head is pointing. So I am only holding down my thumbstick forward right now, and I'm just turning my head and I'm moving side to side. I'm moving all around just by turning my head. So if I wanted to continue going straight, when I turn my head, I have to move my thumbstick going left, which I just did. Conversely, when I put it on continuous hand, it goes based off the direction your hands are pointing. So if I'm holding my thumbstick forward, I'm still holding my thumbstick forward, but now I'm just moving my hands side to side. That's what continuous hand does. Now, virtual crouch, everyone's favorite. I am crouching up and down just by moving my thumbstick, my right thumbstick, up and down. You can turn this off, where the only way you have to crouch, like behind cover or to drop shot someone, is just by physically crouching, which is obviously much harder to do. But I have bad knees and a small play space with damaged, like things that could be easily broken in my play space. So I usually use virtual crouch. Spectator turn sensitivity is sensitivity for turning when you are spectating something and not actively playing, like when you're already dead. Reticle color, you can set this on one of 360 values, all the way from red to white. I have mine right around 300 for neon pink because there is nothing else neon pink in this game. so it's always going to stand out. So fire mode selector button. I have this one disabled, but you can also manually flip it, which is really cool. So that's automatic. And then you can set it to single fire that way. Each gun has a different fire mode selector. Some actually don't have one, but that's how you do that. But if you do have fire mode selector button enabled, you activate it by briefly holding down your right thumbstick with the gun in hand, obviously. And you can see your fire mode based on this little window on the side of your gun. See that little one dash? That's single fire and then automatic. There we go. Firearm motion smoothing. I personally have this one off. Sometimes I have it on low if I'm having a rough day. I never have it on medium or high. I honestly only ever have it on low because aiming pistols is really hard and really shaky in VR. For a lot of people if you don't have any motion smoothing, so sometimes I'll put that on low. I wish there was a setting to turn this on so it was only on during pistol rounds. That'd be cool. XLab, if you're listening, I'd like it a lot if you did that. Handgun pitch mode. This changes the angle at which the pistol rests in your hand. So I can't show you this without showing how my actual hand is positioned relative to the position of the gun in game. But I always have this one on comfort. Because sometimes I hold my pistol real close to my face like this, other times a little bit farther out, but comfort just makes it easier for me to do that without giving myself carpal tunnel. So firearm virtual stock. I have 3 settings for this. Off, type 1, and type, flip please, type 2, just like diabetes. If I have this off, the game basically just draws a line between where my 2 hands are when I'm gripping the gun, and it will align the gun between my hands. But the thing is, if I move my either hand, it's super easy. Like, I'm not moving my front hand, I'm just moving my back hand here, and look how, like, I'm barely moving, but it's so easy to throw your aim off, and you have to have both hands be so steady in order to be a good shot. So what virtual stock does, I play with type 1, by the way, is it simulates having the stock of the gun in your shoulder, and it gives it sort of a magnetism back towards your shoulder. So by simulating that third point of contact, the gun is always pulled backwards, pretty much straight back, so it's much easier to keep everything aligned and get your shots where they're supposed to go. And then type 2, I don't know what the main difference is between type 1 and type 2. The way I describe it is that type 2 feels much more stiff. It feels like there's more gravity, more magnetism pulling the back of the gun towards you, but I don't know the technicals behind it. Physical stock, I don't use this because I don't have a physical stock that I use. Vail is not a game that really lends itself to physical stock use. For most people. There are a few people here and there that use it, but of the 20 players that made it to the LAN tournament last year, only 3 played with a physical stock, because speed will typically get you farther in this game than being particularly steady at range, because that's the main benefit of a physical stock. So this just, I'm not entirely sure what this does, but don't use it if you don't have a physical stock. Grip mode. Now this is just like a lot of other VR games. You can set it to hold, where if I'm gripping something, I am holding down my grip button right now, or set it to toggle means I pressed my grip button once, I let go of my grip button, and it's still in there because I turned it on and off. I toggled it on and off. So look, I just press it once, press it once, press it once, press it once. That's what toggling does. Firearm grip swapping. I actually don't know what this does. Magazine grip mode. I have it on normal, so that just means I press my grip button to grab mags off my body. But if I turn it to trigger, I'm hitting my grip button a bunch, but now I hit my trigger and it grabs it with my trigger. So it's like I'm never gonna hit trigger and accidentally grab my pistol. I'm never gonna hit the grip button and accidentally grab a mag. But I play with standard, where grip button just grabs everything. Sometimes it messes me up, but it's not often enough that it bothers me. Tactical grip mode. I also don't know what this does. Spray. So if you've ever played like Counter-Strike back in the day, this is what a spray does. Walk up to a wall, press the right thumbstick once, and that is what spray does. It puts down a lovely little image on the wall. Let's see. Mini Rayab. Look, it's a little Rayab guy. Little chibi Rayab and light bulb. And then there's controller profile. I have mine set to quest. Haptic feedback on. I highly recommend having this on. There's so many helpful little bits of feedback that you get from your haptics. So turn that on. And now we're done with the gameplay tab. On to the visual tab. So there's something I highly recommend, especially if you're on Quest. Look at this. Everything for visual quality is on low, except for view distance. I have mine on high because my PC is pretty good. But otherwise, put everything on low. Everything. This is a competitive game primarily, or it's a game that is really fun in the sense that you get to click heads real fast, real good. You click heads more faster and gooder with everything on low, which gives you a higher frame rate. Makes it easier to click heads. Put everything on low. But even on Quest, you can turn these up. I don't recommend it, but you can. Enemy outline color. So here, I'll show you this. There's a name trainer here. See, it changed because I changed it. Now they're pink. But the problem with that, they're pink. My reticle's pink. That's a little hard to see. You see? Like, they blend in a little bit together. Because normally, when you first boot up the game, these are both red. But what was mine exactly? Mine was, like, right around here. It's like a neon green color. So now I shoot this one, the new ones are green. So look, there's a lot more contrast between pink and green than there was between 2 shades of pink, or in your case 2 shades of red if you're new to the game. And then player outline intensity, always have this maxed out. It just makes it easier to see opponents. Spectator eye view, you don't have to worry about this if you're on Quest. It's the spectator window on my desktop, and that's it. Visual tab was short and sweet. Next is audio. Master volume. This is the overall volume of everything in the game. Music volume, self-explanatory. The volume of the music. The music in this game is sick as hell, but I'm a content creator and I gotta put my own music on things, so this is at 0 for me. Sound effects volume. This is, gosh, ambient noise, gunshots, all that. You want this up. Voice chat output device. So obviously, if you're on Quest, you only have one option. If you're on desktop, I trust you know what this does. And right now, everything is muted, and this is why this is grayed out. But, you know, for the heck of it, I'm just going to not. So I'm going to set this to, there we go. Voice chat output device. So my voice chat comes in through my headset. You can adjust how loud everyone's voice chat is. So if people are screaming, if Quest kids are screaming into their microphones, you can just turn this down. And then also this button mutes you and deafens you to voice chat. So it will make it so that your mic doesn't go through to anyone else. No one else's mic comes into you. You can play in peace if that's what you're feeling. You can also just mute yourself, but still hear everyone. But hitting the headphones button down here mutes and deafens. And then last button, calibrate height. Stare at this guy when he appears. It's actually you. And it makes it so that your movements in game match up to the player models, because the player models all have to be one height for competitive integrity, but people don't all come in one height, so that's what that does. And then here, let's go to loadouts. This is how you pick your guns. So I'm going to tell you what the meta is right now. These are not meta loadouts, honestly, but this is probably the meta loadout right now, or at least the meta rifle. This is the Grop B. Here it is down in the menu down here. Sight is entirely personal preference. I use the Romeo or whatever it's called just because it is the most clearly outlined. I feel like it has the most contrast with everything. But again, that's personal preference. Use whichever sight feels best to you. Use the Grop B right now. Close range, it is a one-shot headshot to kill. I do believe it's 4 body shots to kill. And you can double dink someone and kill them at just about any range with this gun right now. And it doesn't have a lot of recoil, which is really good. You could maybe make a case for this gun, the ACP9 Pro, being worth using on certain maps and in certain situations. It does kind of melt, but like it really suffers at range. So the way the guns are balanced in general is off of both bullet caliber and then the length of the barrel. So guns that are a higher caliber tend to deal more damage. So the highest caliber gun in the game for the rifles, for the assault rifle class, is this guy, the AK-303. And this actually has the longest one-shot headshot distance in the game. I want to say it's 41 meters. But here, I'll show you something. It has the highest recoil in the game. Now, if you play a game like Pavlov, and you're used to recoil like this, then that's not going to mean anything to you. like, then I would kind of recommend this, honestly. Like, it's a little more challenging to use and to like spray with, but that one-shot potential is pretty good. Like, not a whole lot of people are using it right now, and by not a lot of people I mean pretty much no one. But I think if you get used to it, you practice that recoil, you could make a case for it. So it does the most damage. Damage fall off is based off the length of the barrel. So this is like a carbine, so it's not quite a rifle, but it's not an SMG. So the barrel is medium length and it's got like a middling caliber. It's like very good for close range. It's really good for mid range. But then when you get to long range, it's not so good. So like this you have to triple dink people. That means 3 headshots at long range. I think it one-shots at close range. Yes, it does. I think you can make a case for the MR96 right now because this one-shots to the head and to the upper torso, but only the center upper torso. So it's like an oval that encapsulates the head right here. This area is a one-shot kill. The shoulders don't count and the stomach doesn't count, but you have this big hitbox area that's a one-shot kill. If you can hit that consistently with this at any range. I'm not going to go through every gun right now because the differences between guns are like so nuanced, and for the most part, and there's a lot of guns that aren't worth using competitively but are just fun to use, but that's not necessarily useful information for you. Like, if you're just messing around, use whatever gun is fun for you. If you are sweating it out, use the Grop B. Maybe use the AK-303, maybe use the sniper rifle, but Grop B is just where it's at right now. And now you're thinking, okay, I know how to plant the scanner. I know how to set up my loadouts. I know how to get the best settings to fuck bitches get money. How do I get good? Come over here and look at all this. So here's the shooting range that we're greeted with when we first load in. But then there's an aim trainer. You saw me use this briefly earlier. And look at that. Target practice. And then for pistols, honestly, you can use any pistol except for this motherfucker. I honestly recommend the Glock right now, just because the Glock holds 20 rounds. The next most is 14, and then there's a gun that has 12. And this will still one-shot at close range, one-shot headshot. And then it'll do a two-tap, like the head and the body, for a very long range, and you have so much more ammo. And it's like you can still spam to the body with no recoil just about at all. Like, I was firing that almost as fast as I could, and it still works. Pistols need some balancing right now, honestly, but it's like the PL-14 here is also viable. And if you are just a one-tap god, use the MK-23. But you can only use iron sights on this guy. You can use a red dot on the others. I personally am not good with iron sights. But anyway, what I was saying, come over here. You have the shooting range you were greeted with. You have an aim trainer, and then you have a grenade toss. Grenade toss, pretty straightforward. These are impact grenades. They're different from frag grenades like this guy, but these are impact grenades. And to activate a grenade before you throw it, you have to pull trigger. So because these are impact grenades, they only blow up on impact. So they're totally safe to activate and just hold on to as long as you don't drop them. And then you can practice your nades all day long here. Did I hit those? Oh, let's go. But the frag grenades, here I'll show you how they're different from the impact grenades. This has a 3-second timer. And you can hear that. If you hear that beeping coming towards you, get away from the beeping sound. Grenades are very powerful in this game, but because the timer counts down like that, it allows you to place your grenades with a lot of precision. You can throw a grenade across the map, practice it, and basically be able to consistently like deny certain areas of the map or clear certain areas of the map without even being there, because the grenades in this game are so good. This is a flashbang. It has a 2-second fuse after you activate it. It'll blind anyone who is looking at it or not within, like, I want to say like a 5-foot radius. But basically it's like this can pop behind me. And if it's close to me, it'll still blind me. But because it still has that set fuse, it's always going to go off 2 seconds after you activate it. So you can be very precise. There's some sick pop flashes with it. And then this is the smoke grenade. Smoke grenade also has a 3-second fuse. You throw it, and it's going to put that big ol' orb of smoke down to deny line of sight, and it'll last for 15 seconds. after it pops. And if you go into a smoke, you can't lurk in smokes like you can in other tactical shooters. You cough just like that, so it lets the enemy know where you are. So you can't push smokes for free like in other games. And then there are mini games like basketball, bucket, and then there's things like ice hockey, don't you know? I didn't know it did that. That's so funny. But anyway, that is it. This is has been your introduction to Vail. Please stick around. I want this game to thrive. I hope you all learned something from it. Like and subscribe if you want more VR FPS, but especially Vail content. Thank you all so much for watching. It actually means a whole lot to me that y'all take the time to watch this. I hope this helped you. And yeah, have a great day.